Hey y'all, it's Ashley from I Have Plans for You. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to get started with our April 2025 Bujo setup. I'm using colored pencils from Amazon Basics, and I'm also using these grabby dual tone brush tip acrylic markers. The theme for this spread is Pretty Yummy Treats. Those stickers are already available on the shop and on Patreon at the Sophista Creator level. You're probably thinking, why does that sticker say August? Well, I should have been thinking the same thing, but I didn't notice until I was almost done with this spread. And these are the specific colors of the grabby markers that I'm using and the specific colors of the colored pencils that I'm using. I just have two tones of each color. The idea here is that April is going to be this huge cookie with the letters spelled out in icing. And so I'm going to get started with this color. I think they call it eggnog. But as I start to use it, I'm noticing that I did not go in and blot out the pencil marks from when I sketched this out. So I decided to show you all how I actually use my kneaded eraser. So some of you had asked before, and I thought this would be a perfect time to share. So you see I kind of blot it sometimes and it picks up some of the lead, but when my hands get tired, I can pick up so much more lead when I kind of roll it across the page like this. And you're seeing it's kind of lightening the lead there. So I'm going to go back in with this eggnog color, and it's actually okay that I still have some of the lead there because we're going to go in and do some shading with a darker color. But I'm taking this grabby marker and I'm just going to make the kind of like base of the cookie in this color. So starting off, it's going to be all acrylic marker, and I'm just going to take my colors and get the base color in acrylic marker down on the page. Now, some things about these grabby markers in particular, this lighter color is not as opaque as some of the other colors. So you'll see that I kind of have to go over it a few times. When I make longer strokes, I get a juicier flow of the ink, and so that makes it a little bit easier to get a little more opaque color there. But for the most part, I kind of have to, you see me kind of going over certain parts multiple times to darken it up and cover those dots in the Bujo there. If you're wondering, or if you're new here, this is the Square 8x8 journal by Archer and Olive. I do have another video on me unboxing this and sharing how I felt about it, and I will link that in the cards. But I'm just going to fill in this cookie. And the other thing about these grabby markers is some of them, the nibs kind of fray a little bit. So as I use these, I do keep another like blank sheet of paper around to kind of get those frayed edges clean on. I'm not sure why some of them do that and some of them don't. And you'll also notice that not all of the light colors are not, are so less opaque, I guess. Like this pink color, it's gonna cover those dots a little easier. As you can see, I wanted to give you this angle so you could see that closer angle of it kind of covering the dots without me having to do too many layers in one spot. And some of the lighter colors do that, some of them don't. But overall, I do like these grabby markers because I feel like this set has the most colors in it that I actually use. The individual markers can just be a little finicky sometimes. So if they sold individuals, then I would probably buy individuals. Because there are certain colors that I do use more often than others, but I also just don't really use acrylic markers that often. And I say that as I'm using acrylic markers, and you saw me use them in the March Bujo spread as well. And voila, now that this layer is all done, and I'm just going in and filling in some of that streakiness. As you can see, that purple is a little darker color, but it's still giving me streakiness. So I'm not sure if it's like lighter markers act a certain way versus darker markers. That's not really my experience. It's just like different markers act different ways with this grabby set. But if you can deal with that, then, I'll link these below. Like I said, these do have a variety of colors and they do layer pretty well. Like, I'm writing that green right on top of that eggnog color. One other thing, they do come with swatch sheets. They come with the black one and a white one. But the colors on the caps are nowhere near in a lot of cases the color that actually comes out to. So if you do buy these, then use the swatch sheets. Like, you're gonna really need it. So I'm going in with the brown, and so this brown to me is kind of like the crust that you kind of see on the cookie. Like, if you're looking at it at an angle, you kind of see like a darker shading around the like lip of the cookie. And so what I'm doing now is just going around the entire cookie with that brown without doing like the particular shading yet, and just getting it all the way around, kind of like an outline. And then I'll go back in and thicken up some of these lines to create kind of like shading. And I'll be particularly shading on the left and bottom. I just decided that that's where my light was coming from. But then I'll also go back with a kind of mid-tone brown that's a little darker than the acrylic marker. Not by much though, but I'm going to use that to kind of blend that shading in. And I really like the technique of using color pencils on top of acrylic or water-based markers. You all have seen me do both in videos here on my channel. But now you see what I was talking about. I'm going back in and I'm shading on the bottom and kind of like the left. So I messed up a little bit on the A, and if I didn't tell you that, you probably wouldn't have noticed. But I'm going back in even around those letters. I'm trying to shade only kind of like on the left side and the bottom, so that it kind of looks like if you're standing to the if you're standing above it, it kind of looks like you're getting more of a shadow on that one side. And when I put the shadows on the letters, so the letters are going to be like icing. When I put the shadow there, then you'll really see these letters kind of pop and look like they're kind of curved over, like the way icing kind of looks. I'm also using these colored pencils as an opportunity to add a little bit of texture. So if you notice, I don't really care too much about staying perfectly on the line, because I don't feel like cookies, with cookies you get like crumbles and things like that. So I could have gone in and added a few like crumble marks, but I didn't want to be that precise. But I'm just going in here, like you see, with the actual darker tone that I picked for the color of each letter. I'm going all the way around it, just like I did with the cookie, and then I'll go back around and add shading. And it kind of already looks like it's coming off the page a little bit, which is what I was going for. I thought about adding colored pencil on top of the letters, and in some places, because I didn't have the exact color pencil, it was giving too much texture, and I wanted it to kind of be shiny like icing. So I decided to not do it on any of the letters. Now I will say colored pencil helps with that streaking, like with the L there. If I was to go and find a purple color pencil that was very close to the color of that purple, I would layer that all over the L to kind of get rid of that streaking and give it a more blended effect there. But you see there with the A, and even with the petals, me going in with that lighter color pink to blend a little more, it really looks like those colors or those letters are kind of like sticking up on the cookie. So here's where you see me going to get kind of like that darker brown color. I mean, lighter brown, darker brown, lighter brown, whatever you want to think of, whatever you're comparing it to. And I'm just adding like texture to the cookie. It's a little golden, but I don't mind that. And it was the closest color I had to what I wanted to see. So I just had to deal with the colors that I had. but I'm just going all around everything, and I'm barely touching the page, you all. So I don't want this color to kind of overpower the cookie, but I can see it much better than you all can probably in person, that there's just like texture added. It's actually showing up a little more golden on camera than I realized, but in person it kind of looks like just a darker version of that eggnog color, and it's not blended very well. It's just texture. So I'm gonna go in and finish the rest of the letters, and I figured we could just chat for a little bit. So I've been really liking these more chatty videos with you all and kind of discussing what's going on with the shop and kind of like life, I guess, too. But I wanted to give you all a little bit of an update from what I think was my last video. It was my art licensing plan video. And I already got my logo. I have my brand colors. And then I already started setting up my portfolio on the site. So if you go to ashleykellyart.com, which I also mentioned over there on that video, then you can see what I have so far. So if you wanted to go along on that journey with me, then those are some of the things that I've gotten done so far. I have a few more art collections that aren't listed there yet, and I'm just kind of wondering how much I should list online versus how much I should be pitching to the clients. But I'm taking a few courses. So if you're not new to art licensing and surface pattern design, then you might have heard of like Bonnie Christine or Gingerbird Stacy Bloomfield or Mel Armstrong. So they have courses and kind of like documents. Mabel Tan is one of them too. They have little things you can buy, resources. Some are free, some are paid, and I have some of those, and I'm going through and making sure that I am doing what I can to make sure that I have a successful art licensing career. I do want to switch back over to this Bujo spread and mention here that I'm using the white acrylic grabby marker to add kind of like the illusion of shine to these cookies. So the white marker is another one where it's not as opaque as I would like for it to be, but on some letters it is a little more opaque than others, and it's not as easy to tell which ones it's going to show up on. So you see, it's adding just like the illusion of shine and kind of making it look a little bit more like icing. So I'm just using what I have to try to get as close to the effects that I want. As many of you know, I am self-taught, so I just kind of go along and play along with these different mediums to see what kind of effects I can get. And I also use art to kind of help me get over my perfectionism as well. So there are definitely some places when I'm drawing that I'm kind of like, oh my goodness, I'm not sure if I like that. But I try to let it stick and just try to let my creativity flow, because perfectionism really does damper your creativity. You're not willing to do as many things as you might be willing to do if you weren't thinking about trying to be perfect with everything. So I'm trying to fight that, if only for that reason. I want to be more creative, I want to be more expressive, and I want to just live life to the fullest. But I think as the more letters I'm doing here, you can really see that shine effect. And I think this is all I do with the white, other than you see that little blip of purple under the L down there under the cookie. I do go in with the white and try to kind of fix that up a little bit later. I'm trying to kind of work with that mark rather than against it, because this white isn't as opaque as I would like for it to be. And so I don't want to dab too much, because the other thing that can happen is that when you're layering with the lighter colors, the darker color, it might pick up some of that darker color up under it. So I'm going back in and trying to add a little bit of shading and shadow around the 2025. In hindsight, I probably should have gone around with that brown instead of trying to just do that shading on the icing. But, we said we're fighting against perfectionism, and we're not going to think about that. Hopefully I don't go back after the fact and fix it, you all. But, back to the art licensing. I know I was talking about Bonnie Christine, and a lot of people know about her immersion course for surface pattern designers and art licensing. Um, I am not enrolled in immersion. For me personally, I already know how to do a lot of the things that she discusses in that course. And so I just started seeking out the parts of the journey that I kind of don't know anything about or needed a little more help with. And those specifically are kind of like the business side of um, art licensing and surface pattern design and pitching and branding. So I have heard wonderful things about her course, especially if you're new to patterns and designing and like everything. That might be a good course for you. But I particularly just kind of needed the more business and branding side of things. I'm going back in with the brown, the darker brown colored pencil, and I'm just trying to find some spaces to kind of make things pop a little more. I feel like I have what I want here, and so we're gonna stop. I feel like I have a cute cookie. I originally was going to go in for these kind of like monthly areas that I put on this monthly spread with marker. I was going to use Crayola Super Tips because they have some pretty pigmented pastel colors. But I also wanted this spread to be playful. I wanted it to be neat, but still like very colorful and fun and happy looking. And I already had these colors that I've picked with the colored pencils. So I just decided, hey, I never letter anything. I never write really with colored pencils. So let me try that one time. So that's how we ended up with the colored pencil lettering, if you will, there. And that's just like a little monoline style for monthly, and then just a handwriting uppercase style for tasks. And you see I do that on a few of the different sections there. So in purple, I did monthly tasks. I'm doing important dates in blue. And then just to give it a little variance, I'm using different tones of the same colors or different hues of those colors to just, give it a little more interest. And for those handwriting, like bubble letters, they're not really bubble letters, but they are, in a sense, they are bubble letters because they're just really thin. But I'm just going in a few times with each of those colored pencil colors to thicken the lines up. As you all can see, April is pretty busy for me. April is also my birthday month, so happy birthday to me, almost. But this is the time of year, if you're a parent or if you like are a caregiver at all, this time of year is chock full of activities. So that important date section there is completely full. I also wanted to mention here though that for my last monthly, I didn't have all these sections. So I didn't have like important dates and the monthly task next month and habits. But as I've been on this kind of bullet journal journey, I've noticed that there are certain things that I really enjoy every month, and then there's certain things I feel like I'm missing for the month. And so this is the first month that I feel like really happy and comfortable with my monthly spread, and I feel like I have everything listed just the way I want it to. I'm going in with the stickers here to fill that space. I knew that I wanted to use those stickers there. That's why that extra space was there. And I kind of wanted to just like dot them all around in this, quirky, cute looking way. And at this point, you might be wondering, did Ashley find the right monthly sticker there? And the answer is no. I still had not noticed at this point that I was using the August monthly calendar there. It wasn't until I got up, and you see I changed it here. I got up to check what my video was looking like in the camera, and that's when I looked down and saw the huge August at the top of the spread. But I fixed it. You all, if you've been following these Bujo spreads since the beginning of the year, I mess up the dates in every single spread and I have to go back and fix them. And while I was rewatching the video, I noticed that I messed up the date somewhere else too. And I'll see if you catch it. I'll say it when it happens. I won't say it in advance this time. Another thing that I realized I was missing from my weekly spreads though was a monthly calendar. So I thought that I didn't really feel like I looked at the monthly calendar when I was using a traditional planner. And so I had done away with that in my weekly spreads for the Bujo. I have been missing having a weekly calendar. And you all know that I decided last month that what was working for me, since these square bujos are so large, the thing that was working best for me was putting 2 weeks on an entire spread. So on the left side of the page will be the first week of April, and on the right side of the page will be the second week of April. It's a little trickier for me this time because I do have that monthly calendar there, and it's taking up a bit of the space that I would have used for one of the days of the week. And I also need to put to-dos and notes down. The other thing, y'all, as I said before, this week upcoming, this is my birthday week coming up, and it is jam packed. Like, my actual birthday is even packed with things that are non-birthday related. So my children have like 4 events that day, including an actual birthday party that I'm taking one of my children to on my birthday. But I'm not a huge like birthday celebrator, I guess. I probably should do a little bit better. And I feel like I am doing a little bit better about celebrating myself. So I plan on doing a few things all month to make sure that I make up for it. And at this point, you're probably noticing, if you haven't noticed, I'm going to tell on myself, but this is where I start to date incorrectly. Do you see it? Do you see it? And I don't even change it in the video. I didn't even notice it while I was creating the page. But March ends on the 31st, not the 30th. But that's what I get because I was watching Homegrown. I don't know if you all watched that show. I watch it on Hulu, so I'm not exactly sure what channel it comes on. But it's this lady, and she's Atlanta based, and she helps people set up their like backyard farms. And I thought I just love watching that channel. It kind of has the same vibes as what I think it's called Megan with Love, and I watched that on Netflix too. But this one is a bit more like down home feeling and like southern, like not country but southern, if you know what I'm talking about. And I really like that show. I was watching it while I was doing this spread to have a little noise in the background, and I messed that date up. But now I'm realizing, why did I not print any birthday stickers to put on the birthday spread? And now you see me going through all of my stickers. Who recognizes those old headers from the sticker sheets? But I'm going through all of my stickers to just find, I was looking specifically for the sheet with the balloons and birthday cake, and then I remembered that I revamped that sheet and it only has balloons on it now, so there's like 1 sheet of balloons and 1 sheet of birthday cakes. But I'm going through and I added some of those present icons because, hopefully I get presents on my birthday, and I just really wanted the balloons. I didn't really care about putting a piece of cake there, but I really wanted to put balloons on my birthday day on my planner. And now I'm adding all those freaking boxes for every single thing that has to happen on that Saturday. And to be honest, I could have added 2 more boxes. I just didn't have enough space, and I didn't want to fill up that space with all of that kind of like stuff. But every time you see me place a box on a space is when I have like a special event for that day. So even on my planners, on my old planner spreads and everything, if I place a box on a day, it's not just like work or like something that normally happens on that day. That's how busy March and April get for us, you guys. So I'm just gonna go through and fill in the rest of this page with all of my events that I have coming up for the next 2 weeks, and also show you what the next page will look like, which is kind of more traditional of what my spreads will kind of look like. And I'm going to add a little bit. I like to tie in every page with kind of like a common theme, something similar. And in this case, it's going to be like that dotting around the boxes like I did in the sections on the monthly spread. And so voila, you see I've added all of those on the left side. I've set up the right side and now I'm kind of separating again with those dots. My rhyme and reason with the colors that I'm using are to separate the actual sections. So as you can see on the right side, for each of the days of the week, the dotted border is pink. And then for the notes section, you see it's the purple border down there. And then for the left side, the month has the purple, the weeks are pink to kind of stay in line with both sides, and then the to-do section has the blue. But wait, I forgot something, and it was the actual deco on the page from the Pretty Yummy Treats collection. So I went back and I added those stickers, and I got to use the cake on my birthday spread. Obviously, we were also missing sprinkles, so I put that there too. I'm gonna flip back over to the first page so you can see the final view of everything. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you subscribe and you stay tuned for the rest of what we have to come. Bye.